We are going to have a look at the chart of accounts. Click Extra, Set up Chart of Accounts. By default, when Vision is installed, it comes with this structure. This structure cannot be changed as such. However, the only thing you can change is the description of the item, but not the account code. Now let's have a look more clear at the structure. We have different categories in the chart of accounts. We have assets, liabilities, income, cost of sales, general expenses, capital, other income, and other expenses. You can further navigate by clicking the plus button. But you can also toggle again the expand button that expands all the notes. Let's have a look at the minimum set of accounts that you would have to define on top of what already has been shown here. We do need what we call a VAT control account. How do we create such an account? By clicking first a group. Now, VAT normally falls under liabilities. So you click liabilities, you click with the mouse the right click, and you click add group. Let's first make a group for taxes. Let's call this, or give the code 200-1000, and we call this group taxes. Click save. Now to create an actual account under taxes, a so-called detailed account, you right click the taxes group, and now you select add account. Because we are in the group 200-1000, as you can see here, it would be advised to follow similar numbering. For example, 200-1001. And now we click here VAT. We click save, and as you can see, the VAT is added to the taxes group. Another account that we would need as a minimum requirement is a GRN receivable account. Now let's create such an account, again under liabilities, but not under a subgroup. I will now opt to put it direct under liabilities. So I right click, I click add account. Let's call this account 8000 and let's give it GRN receivable. That's the name of this account. Now this account is being used, this account is being used for stock additions normally, when the stock is arriving to the warehouse, but is not yet tagged to a supplier. For example, you add to stock on a purchase order, but there's no financial document yet. That means that I would have to select extra options in case an account must be available for stock additions. I click here the stock add, and if I, for example, want to make a correction, I would also need to click issue. Let's save this. We have now created an account called GRN receivable account. Another requirement is the account for returns variance. Later we will explain more about what this account does. Let's give it the account code 8002. And I will call this account returns variance account. Also here, I would like to enable for stock adjustments, add and issue. I click save. The next account that we need to create is an account for discounts provided. Normally that falls under expenditures. So I click the general expenditures, I right click and I add an account. I give it an account code, for example 7000, and give it a description, discounts provided. And I click save. The next one that we need as a minimum requirement is we need a retained profit account. That normally you find in the capital group. I right click the capital group, I click add account, and again I give it a code. For example, 700-1000. I give it a name, retained profit, and I click Save. Further to this, you find other accounts. For example, a generic stock account, a generic income account, generic sales account, generic cost of sales account. There is a balancing account by the system provided and an exchange rate gain loss. The balancing account is being used for opening balances. So when you start your accounts, you would normally define the opening balance account by account, and that means that the balancing account, after entering all opening balances, should result back to zero. There are other accounts provided, such as creditor control account. Again, this is a system account, cannot be changed, and represents all your creditor balances. Similarwise, we have a debtors control account. This will control the total debtors ledger. As you can see, also there's a generic stock account. Why do we have that? Is because if you, for example, trade goods, every item that you might buy and sell needs to be linked to an income account, a cost of sales account, and a stock account. By default, each item will have this stock account, will have the 500,999 cost of sales account, and will be automatically linked to the general sales account. However, depending on the nature of your business, you might sell different types of items. Now let's assume you have beverages that you would sell. In that case, I would like to create, under the company assets, I would like to create an inventory subsection. So for example, I can click here, right click, add a group towards the company assets, give it a code, for example, 8000, and I call this group inventory. I click Save. As you can see, I have now the group inventory. If I now want to create accounts under inventory, I select it, I right click, and I click Add Account. Now it is important, as it is an asset, to define what type of asset is this. In our case of stock, this is going to be a stock account. I will follow the numbering. It says 100, 8000 is the group inventory. So let's make the first account 8001. And I will call this beverage stock. I click Save. As you have now a beverage stock, you also would like to have an income account associated with it. So I can right click the income account, the group, I click Add Account, and I would like to add the income. For example, 8001, and I call this beverage income. I click Save. As we have income and also the stock account, we should also in that case have the cost of sales account for this group of items. So I right click the cost of sales, I add, and I type again 8001, and I call this beverage cost of sales. And I click Save. By doing this, I have now created the facility to add items and link them to their respective income accounts specifically for that group. Let me have a look then how it looks from item point of view. If I would now go to the inventory tab and I would like to create an item and I say add, as you can see by default, the general sales account pops up, the general cost of sales and a general stock. But now if I click the list, I see beverage income there, I see the beverage cost of sales there, and I see the beverage stock there. So it is very important to create the correct chart of accounts.